Alright, you guys, welcome back to my weekend La Liga coverage. I apologize, I was not able to come on here yesterday. I was a little bit outside, so when I came back, I was just too tired. I could not make a video about Barcelona's comeback win against Real Valladolid. So I'm just going to make this a combined video because Real Madrid have also now won their game against Celta Vigo, and there's so much we need to talk about. But if you haven't seen my face and you don't know who I am, hi guys, I'm just Max, and on this channel I talk about La Liga to the Premier League and of course UEFA Champions League. If this is something that you are interested in, please stick around, be my friend, be my homie. Let's talk about it because we are 3 games away from the end of the La Liga season and we still don't know who the La Liga champion is going to be. Mathematically, of course. Yesterday's game against Real Valladolid for Barcelona, we knew that the starting lineup was going to be heavily rotated because Barcelona have an intense game coming up against Inter Milan on Tuesday in the Champions League. If you have not watched my Champions League review of the matches, you're missing out on a lot of content. Please go back and watch that. It was a sensational game between Barcelona and Inter Milan, and of course Arsenal against PSG. But anyway, coming into this game, we had Marc-Andre Ter Stegen in goal. This is his first time being in goal since he was injured earlier on in the season. So welcome back, Marc-Andre Ter Stegen. Gerard Martin continued his role on the right back position for Barcelona. Andreas Christensen also came into the starting lineup again. This is Christensen's first start in La Liga this season. So congratulations, Christensen, and welcome back to the team. Ronald Araujo also came back into the starting lineup for this. We did not see Inigo Martinez or Kubasi because we knew that they will need to be rested. Hector Fort was going to hold down that right back position because, as we know, Jules Koundé is injured. Gavi came into the midfield, partnering with Pedri. We did not see Frenkie de Jong from the start, but we did get to see Frenkie de Jong later on in the game. Ansu Fati did get his call up in the game. Fermín López, Dani Rodriguez, who came in from the Real Madrid Barcelona B team, came into this game, and of course Pau Victor led the line. We still are out of Robert Lewandowski. We do not have an ETA on when he's meant to come back with this injury. Substitutions that we will see later, we will get to see Raphinha, Lamine Yamal, Dani Olmo, Frenkie de Jong, and Eric Garcia coming to the starting lineup. Well, not the starting lineup, coming to the game for Barcelona. And I believe Dani Rodriguez did leave the game with an injury. I do hope that he's okay, and we do hope to see this talented player come back for Barcelona at a different time. Now, what did we see? Within the first 6 minutes, Barcelona were down, and let me tell you, I have watched that goal several times and I still cannot explain to you honestly how that happened. I don't know. I'm gonna give Ter Stegen some grace here because I feel like he's just coming back from an injury, and obviously the ball did have a very weird bounce, but it looked very comical, I cannot lie. Like, it looked very funny the way he was wobbling one way and the ball was going a whole totally different direction. It looked funny. That's all I can say. Like, it just looked very, very funny. That's it. Funny. It was a funny goal. And I believe it did take a deflection off of, I think, Araujo to get into like, to put it just weird but it was very funny the way I watched it. Like, I cannot even lie. Moving on from there, I do think that Valladolid did have an opportunity to double their lead. It's just that they're not as clinical or as a very sharp team as Barcelona could be. But I cannot lie, I cannot tease. Barcelona did look good at certain instances within that first half. I thought Pau Victor did have 2 incredible opportunities. That bicycle kick, if he had a bit more power and maybe more direction, the overhead kick, it could have probably troubled the Valladolid goalkeeper. And there was another ball that was hit straight at the goalkeeper, maybe with a little bit more direction, it could have really troubled the goalkeeper as well. Ansu Fati, I thought he was okay, and I thought he was going to play more but unfortunately he came off. But within the few minutes that he played for Barcelona, I thought he was good. I thought maybe not the greatest, but he did have some moments where he showed some lightning in the bottle kind of stuff for Barcelona, and I thought it was amazing. I had no doubt whatsoever that Barcelona were going to be able to come back from this match, only because like this season Barcelona have somehow become the comeback kings of Europe, if I could say that myself. I mean, I believe that there is a new comeback king in town, and it's Barcelona. You know, they did it against Inter Milan, they did it against Real Madrid, they did it against Atletico Madrid. They just shown that if there's still a little bit of time in a match, they are going to come back and they're going to be good at what they do. So I had no doubt, even if Barcelona went into that first half being down a bit, I just had a full confidence that, be that as it may, we will be able to come back. We did get to see like the introduction of a few first team players. Now here's the thing, I just kind of wish that the comeback of Barcelona was not sponsored by the first team players, because I wanted them to be fully rested and loaded for Inter Milan on Tuesday. That is not the case, and it's what it is, and I can't be mad at it. I am mad at it, but like, what can we do at this point? The most important thing is that we do have 3 points ahead of Real Madrid, so we're still Gucci. Anywho, coming into the second half, Raphinha and Co, they come in, and honestly I have to talk about it, because for the lot of you who've been watching my channel for the longest time, you would know that I have been a Raphinha stan from the very beginning. I have picked Raphinha to be my Ballon d'Or this season, and I know that a lot of other Barcelona players are coming into their own at the very good time of the season, but we have to admit that Raphinha has just had this amazingness of being able to either get a goal contribution or get an assist in every game that he plays, even when he doesn't play good. For me, I think that Raphinha and Lamine Yamal are Barcelona's big time players. For many times this season, when we needed a comeback or we needed somebody to inspire the revolution, it's either been Lamine Yamal or Raphinha. But Raphinha's goals also have been very big for Barcelona in terms of like, in times when we were down or in times when we needed a goal to win a game and just hang on. He's been able to provide that big time play. And he did that again today, coming into this match. On the 54th minute, Barcelona were down essentially, and we were trying to like spark a comeback. A ball is played into the goalkeeper, he parries it, but guess who is in the right place at the right time? That's kind of the thing. Raphinha has just made that thing part of him, to be at the right place at the right time, and he slots that ball home very skillfully, very stealthily, and I love every bit of it. And I cannot lie, I was smiling because like immediately Barcelona came back 1-1, we knew it was on. We knew Barcelona were going to be able to come away with it now. And of course, barely 6 minutes from that, we saw Listen, I've talked about Fermín López on this channel many times. If you've been watching my videos, you would have heard me talk about Fermín López. Like, he's one of my favorite players. Like, next season, what I want from Fermín López is to add a bit more precision to his game so that he can be able to convert a lot of the shots that he takes. But if there is a man on the Barcelona team who is not afraid to lace it, it's Fermín López. And today he got the goal that put Barcelona ahead 6 minutes after Raphinha's comeback goal. And again, it was a very square pass into Fermín López, who was standing just in the middle of the box in a very opportune position. He puts his boot through it, and before the goalkeeper could even see it, it's already in the back of the net. It was just that beautiful. It was just that very wonderful goal from Barcelona. And honestly, at that point, it was game, set, match. Barcelona 3 points ahead of Valladolid. Now, I know that a lot of times we're going to be looking at players and say, hey, could we have done more? I think that Valladolid certainly had the opportunity to like maybe score more goals in that first half, maybe break Barcelona's high line, or break Barcelona's defense, because again, they're not playing with the regular defenders, they're not playing with the regular first team that Barcelona is used to. Like, this was essentially Barcelona's second string unit. So I think Valladolid could have looked at themselves and said, maybe we did have an opportunity here that we did not exploit. Be that as it may, I have to give credit to all of the Barcelona players who played today, were able to hold it down, even though we did not win that first half at all. I want to see more situations where people become more potent, people become more clinical. where we don't have to basically rely on our first team players to come in and save the day, because at the end of the day we want to have this kind of games where we can rest them for important games like the one against Inter Milan. But that is important. 3 points that was secured ahead of El Clasico next week, which we will definitely be here for. But moving on to the Real Madrid game, of course, Barcelona may be fighting for a position in the final of the UEFA Champions League, but Real Madrid had no such trouble because they are already out. They've lost the Copa del Rey as well, so La Liga is everything for them this season. If they hope to get a trophy, they needed to win this game against Celta Vigo, because Barcelona was already 7 points ahead of them starting this game, and ahead of El Clasico there was a mathematical possibility that Barcelona could win the match with a win if they are able to secure it in El Clasico. So it was very imperative that Real Madrid came in with the bang. But the problem for Real Madrid, I would say, this season, or this ahead of this game, was Real Madrid's entire backline has been decimated by injuries. So we were just very curious to see how Real Madrid were going to be able to set up ahead of this game against Celta Vigo, which is a really difficult game. Celta Vigo are a really good team, and this is the lineup Ancelotti decided to put out. We had Thibaut Courtois in goal, Lucas Vázquez in right back position, Tchouaméni, who was played in the centre back position before for Real Madrid this season, did end up coming back because, again, like I mentioned, Real Madrid have no defenders at the moment. They are all injured. We did get that note from Rudiger performing a surgery in the midweek after playing about 7 months, he said, with an injury. We did also get the notice of Alaba also going down injured. Like, I feel for Real Madrid. I might not be a Real Madrid fan, but I feel for them. Like, they are really going through it with injury this season, and maybe I want to challenge the Real Madrid staffing to see how they can manage the players in a way that, you know, they have less unfortunate situations with injury. Be that as it may, we did have Raúl Asensio, who is the only traditional defender for Real Madrid, you know, starting this game in the centre back position, and then Fran Garcia rounded out the left back position. We did see Dani Ceballos in the midfield and Valverde partnering with him in the midfield position. Arda Güler came in, and I'm going to take some time to talk about Arda Güler, but we also saw Jude Bellingham, Vini Jr. and Kylian Mbappé, who had a sensational game for Real Madrid. Now, starting this game, I think that one of the things that was imperative for Real Madrid was that they needed to press and press well, because they did not have that trust in their backline to be able to repel attacks from Celta Vigo. So it was imperative for them to keep Celta Vigo on the back foot. That way there was less chances of the defense making a mistake, because, again, I would remind you that Real Madrid do not have a defense. Again, it's no fault of their own. Injuries this season have really decimated their ability to create something positive, and maybe the Real Madrid board also need to look at reinforcing the squad. That way we have more people who are less injury prone in different positions at different parts of the season. Anyway, I have to give credit to Real Madrid in the way that they started that game. I remember saying on TikTok today that the way Real Madrid are playing, they're pressing hard, and if they had pressed hard like all season, they probably would have been in a better position than they are today. And yes, before you argue with me, I felt like even though they had like a very decimated squad today, they still showed that level of quality. So even though I'm saying yes, they have been in injury crisis this season, I still think that the way they play today, if they had played elsewhere, maybe against Arsenal, for example, at the Bernabéu, maybe the scoreline would have been totally different, but that was not what we saw. So I'm kind of confused. If you had this kind of capacity in you, why didn't you show it, or why haven't you shown it prior to now? I'll leave that with you to think about it. But anywho, Real Madrid started this game very good. They had opportunities, but also so did Celta Vigo. They had moments where Thibaut Courtois also needed to make very good save to keep Real Madrid in the game and to keep Celta Vigo at bay. And it was always going to be a matter of who was able to take their chances the best. And I felt like in this match, at least in that first half, Celta Vigo did not take their chances best. They did have some good opportunities. And honestly, as I'm thinking about it right now, as I'm saying it, it's really not their fault. Because, like, regardless of what you might think, Thibaut Courtois is a world-class goalkeeper, and his ability to be able to keep Real Madrid in the match is well documented. So the saves that he pulled off in that first half was sensational. I can't even lie. But I wanted to go ahead and talk about Arda Güler and the goal he scored, because it came through a corner, and then he was more very short corner, passes the ball to Arda Güler. He takes a step into the box, lines himself very well, and then hits a strike that just goes into the top corner of the post. This guy is sensational. Like, he really proving to everybody, like, if you give me a start, I will show you that I have quality. And I've seen Arda Güler play for the Turkish national team. He's sensational. So honestly, I was looking at that goal, and a goal that Real Madrid desperately needed to keep themselves in the game or in the title race ahead of El Clasico. And I was looking at that goal, and I was thinking, why has Arda Güler not started more games for Real Madrid this season? Like, why is he not playing more? Because every time that he played, every time that he's come up for Real Madrid, he's come up and shown that he has what it takes. Honestly, I thought he had a very good game today. I thought he was really good. I thought he opened the scoring when Real Madrid really needed to get the scoring going. I thought that his goal shocked. It really shocked Celta Vigo, who thought that maybe they were coming into a game against a less potent Madrid. So, but there was a reminder to Celta Vigo that regardless, be that as it may, we're still Real Madrid and you're playing in the Bernabéu. It was that kind of goal, and it was a kind of goal that also lifted the crowd, because I wasn't hearing as much noise from the crowd up until that moment. But once Arda Güler's goal was able to go in, the crowd got lifted, they got into it. So, like, honestly, for me, I was just watching him. I love his performance today. I thought he was amazing. I don't know why he doesn't get much more opportunities. And I was talking about it on TikTok just now, and someone was telling me because of Luka Modric, but like, Luka Modric is like 40 years old. Like, he's like old. Like, no cap, no shade, no tea. Like, he's just old, you know. And we need to start transitioning the team into the next generation, and I think that Arda Güler is well primed, you know, to take that mantle. But if there's something that I don't know about Arda Güler that you guys know, let me know in the comment section. And if you watched up until this point and you still haven't subscribed, liked and shared, come on now. Anywho, as we continue the first half for Real Madrid, I thought that as Celta Vigo, they picked themselves up, but Real Madrid's press was intense. Real Madrid's press today reminded me of Barcelona's press. And I was thinking to myself, like, oh wow, like I said this before, like, if Real Madrid had played like this, they probably would have done better. Like, they pressed, they pinned back Celta Vigo, they made sure that they limited the chances that Celta Vigo were able to receive in wider positions, or the ability to bring out the ball, because they were just pinned so far back. But that's not to say that Celta Vigo did not have good opportunities of their own. They did have opportunities where I felt like they could have done something more, something better, something bigger. They had those moments of their own, but it just never really materialized, only because they had a sensational goalkeeper in Thibaut Courtois in goal, who was able to like just be outstretched and repel everything and kept Real Madrid's 1-0 lead in check. Now, I loved what we saw from Real Madrid today in their ability to turn defense into attack, because the second goal for Real Madrid today came from a situation where Thibaut Courtois was being attacked by the Celta Vigo players. A very, very good shot. He parries the ball very well, and just a very quick counter attack is mounted. And now I need to take a moment to appreciate Kylian Mbappé, because when that ball gets to him and when he decides to hit it, it was a little bit way out. I felt he could have taken a few steps more, maybe cut into his left side, you know, to just, you know, finish it. But he took it from a little bit way out, and he backed himself. When you watch that goal again, you realize that he was actually falling. It reminded me of that Julian Alvarez penalty, except this is not a penalty, so no controversy here. But like, he was falling, but the ability to have that level of core strength, as well as the technique to be able to direct that ball over the goalkeeper while still falling down, sensational. Absolutely sensational. Again, I tell you guys all the time on this channel, it's always going to be Vizca Barça. You know, this is a Culé household. I love Barcelona. That is my team every single day, every single time. But I'm also one of those people who's also going to tell you the truth. And that Kylian Mbappé goal, chef's kiss. I could not be mad at it. I was mad at Celta Vigo because I really wanted them to take a point off of Real Madrid today, or take a few points off of Real Madrid today. But when I saw that goal, I just had to stand up and clap, because I was like, yo, this is good. This is just good. It's good. It's just good. Anywho, so Real Madrid will go into the halftime with like 2-0 up. It was a very good position to be in if you're a Madridista, which if you are, let me know in the comment section. I want to be able to know who my people are and who, you know, who the people who are watching my channel is. You know, just let me know which team you support in the comment section. But coming into the second half, you know, I also thought like, okay, maybe Celta Vigo could be able to see what they've done wrong in that first half and maybe tighten up a little bit and match Real Madrid's press. But I have to also admit, like, I did not see that third goal coming out of anywhere, because it was very good in the early in the first half for you to kill the spirit of the Celta Vigo players. On 48 minutes, Real Madrid, the second goal for Real Madrid again through Kylian Mbappé, whom is getting up there, if he's not already level on the Pichichi goals with Robert Lewandowski, who is currently injured. But like, that goal is a very typical Kylian Mbappé goal. He's up on that left hand position, which is his favorite position. Honestly, I don't know why they keep trying to make him a striker. Like, he really loves that position. They just give it to him already. Like, he's up there running, and he just makes, like, he gets that ball and he slices it a diagonal, you know, a diagonal slice into the goal. And it's a very Kylian Mbappé goal. If that was a Kylian Mbappé goal, if I've ever seen a Kylian Mbappé goal. And at that point, as a Barcelona fan myself, I cannot lie, I just gave up every single hope that Celta Vigo were going to be able to do something in this game, especially when 10 minutes passed by and nothing had changed. I was just Celta Vigo will end up pulling 2 goals back through Javi Rodriguez and Williot Sweetberg. The second goal by Celta Vigo was really a thing of beauty. I have to say that the way that the pass was made, such a defense splitting pass. Real Madrid never saw that second goal coming. I think it's one of the most beautifully team constructed goals of the season, if I should say so myself. And I have been privileged to see a few Barcelona goals this season. However, I must say, I'm a little bit disappointed that Celta Vigo are not able to get more from this game against Real Madrid, only because I know how they play against Barcelona, and they're a really good team. You know, so this is supposed to be one of Real Madrid's tougher games leading to the end of the season. Whereas Barcelona still have to play Athletic Bilbao, which is a top team, regardless of what you may think about them and their performance against Manchester United in the Europa League. They're still a very good team, you know. So like, Barcelona still have more challenges up front. Whereas I think this is one of Real Madrid's final tough performances. There's still the El Clasico to be played, but be that as it may, I really thought that this would have been more challenging. And you can say towards the end of the game, it did get a little bit more challenging for Real Madrid, as Celta Vigo were inch close, making it 3-3. However, the story remains the same. Real Madrid have come away with all 3 points. The lead at the top of the LaLiga table is still just a 4-point difference. El Clasico is next weekend, so it could make or break this title push. I do hope that Barcelona are able to do it one more time against Real Madrid next weekend. However, we will be here to talk about it when it all goes down. But let me know what you thought about these games in the comment section. I really want to hear from you what you thought. Who was your best performer for you, whether that be the Barcelona game or whether that be the Real Madrid game. I want to hear all your thoughts in the comment section. But until next time, thank you guys so much for watching my channel, and bye guys.